If you love Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z, but the OG Dragon Ball where Goku is still a little kid, then you are going to definitely love this anime. Now, before I start my review of this anime, let me just say there's two things that I want to say. The first one being is that if you see the poster image of this anime, you are going to see that our main character Jaiba has the same hairstyle that Goku has. Now, after watching all 24 episodes, the hairstyle is not the only similarity that these two properties have in common. So I did a little bit of investigation to find out who is taking inspiration from who. And yes, after investigating, the manga of Jaiba came out 4 years after the manga of Dragon Ball. So yes, it's very apparent that Jaiba is taking inspiration from Dragon Ball. Now, it's not a one-to-one ripoff because Jaiba, with all of similarities, is able to elevate itself and become its own unique identity. And the second thing that I want to mention before the review is that Jaiba, just like we have seen in recent years with Ranma 1.5, Tokyo Mew Mew Mew, Digimon 2020, other animes that right now I'm forgetting about the name, the Jaiba is also another property that is receiving the remake treatment because the original Jaiba came out at 1993, and that's like 32 years ago, and yes, it's right there in the ballpark to receive a remake, and it's good that it received a remake because I am being honest, I have no idea that this property even existed because Ranma 1.5 was part of my childhood. I know Ranma, but Jaiba did not know anything, didn't know that it existed, no nothing. So it's very good that it's receiving a remake so that a new generation can experience the property. Now on to the review. Now Jaiba, even though that he has the same hairstyle as Goku, that is honestly the only similarity that these two main characters have in common because Jaiba has a completely different personality than Goku's. Jaiba is mostly, let's say, he has a very bratty personality, but strangely enough, I don't know how they did it, but it never reached the point to becoming annoying. I don't know why. Maybe because it was a mixture of brattiness with comedy, or maybe because certain situations call for it. I don't know, but it never reached the point of becoming annoying. So that's one thing. Another part of his personality is that unlike Goku, who is very oblivious when it comes to girls or women, Jaiba very much appreciates the female form because after being in his entire childhood or his entire life being in the forest with his father training in the way of the samurai, so he has never seen a girl or anything. So when he reaches the city and sees Sayaka and other girls for the first time, he went a little bit too far when it comes to inspectioning the female form. So it was still funny, but by later episode he cooled down and stopped being such a perv. It was mostly the only. It was only the first 2 to 3 episodes that he was a little bit of perviness when it comes to him. But after that, he completely calmed down. He already got used to it. Now Jaiba is our main character, so let's talk about a little bit of the side characters and even the enemy, the villain or antagonist. Now Jaiba staying with, like I said before, Sayaka in her home house because Jaiba's father and Sayaka's father both know each other, being rivals and all. So Jaiba's father, taking advantage of the relationship, decided to push Jaiba to stay in their house. And as soon as Jaiba entered his new home, Jaiba's father went out for milk and did not return for a while. Sorry, I was laughing at my own joke. Let me come down. Now, moving on. Sorry about that. Now, other than Sayaka, yes, there's other side characters that came out later throughout the episodes. But let's talk right now about our antagonist. Now, we have our antagonist that is Onimaru, who was just a simple, regular high school student, the ace of the kendo club, but Jaiba wanting to challenge him and seeing how challenge him in a swordsmanship fight. He went a little bit too far in knowing Onimaru to such a point that causing him nightmares, and Onimaru just wanting to wipe him out the face of the earth. He accidentally, well, not accidentally, but he, well, just accidentally activated an ancient evil that was a part of his family for generations, and was able to receive a legendary ancient sword that has the property of wind. So he like a wind blade, and when he slice a wind slice and everything, tornadoes, all of that controlling the wind to be able to fly and all. Very cool. The fighting that he does with that blade, awesome. So Jaiba, seeing that he's outmatched, he decides to get his own unique blade, a legendary blade, being the lightning blade. And with it, he started to train because he's still not strong enough to wield it. So he's training, and while he's training, Onimaru, he's sending his henchmen to stop Jaiba and to retrieve the blade for his own. Now, the fights that appear throughout. So, sorry, I got a little bit ahead of myself. Before I start talking about the fights, let me just say that when Yaiba went to retrieve the lightning blade, he met a master called as Musashi. And let me just say that Musashi, he in the beginning he went a little bit too far, because yes, he was a little bit of a pervert and everything, very proud of himself, exaggerating all of his past greatness and all of that. And in the first two episodes, there was nothing wrong with him, but in the third episode, after he appears, he was, I'm not kidding, he was perving out to our female character Sayaka, and I was, after that point, I was, that's like a 12, 13-year-old girl. She doesn't even have any curves. She's flat as a board. She has nothing. Why are you perving out to her and trying to pick at her in the bath? That was so uncalled for. It was, honestly, it was, hey, I don't like censorship. So in some ways, I appreciate that they still left that joke into the remake, but I still question the character very greatly, because perving out to such a young girl, it was uncalled for. But he, just like Jaiba, he later on calmed down. Now he was still a pervert, but he was not as a big of a pervert, because in later episode they introduced another samurai, and I think that the writer of the manga thought to himself, okay, having two perverted samurais is a little bit too much. So let's come, Miss Musashi, let's calm him a little bit down, and let's leave this other samurai as being the pervert. So after a couple of episodes, Musashi was able to become an okay character. I still wasn't able to completely forgiving him for trying perving out as to Sayaka, but he became an okay character. I wasn't as annoyed with him as the beginning. Now, like I was saying before, Onimaru, in order to stop Jaiba and his training with the lightning blade, he was sending his henchmen to stop him. And the first couple of fights were okay. Each one of them were animated very well, don't get me wrong. But it wasn't all that, wow, that fight is 10 out of 10. Is in rivalry with, let's say, with My Hero X or Solo Leveling. The fights were okay, but there was a turning point, because after I think it was episode 5 or 6, where a vampire bat looking creature entered the battle. The entire They went all in on the fights. After that fight and onwards, the fight became so much better. Each fight were super well done, and that I was so wow. I thought to myself, okay, these fights from that episode onwards, some of them honestly were movie quality. Now, not all of them. Some of them were very, very, very well done. Very the fighting, the movements, the swordsmanship, very well done. But there were some unique fights that were so cinematic that I thought to myself, which which studio we staff the staff who is working on this, because there were just so many fights that were so well done that I was so impressed. I won't say to go so far to say that as solo leveling the fight with the Chimera and King or with 2B Hero X, I won't say as good as that, but very close, a super close second, the fightings that appear from that episode onward. Now, after Yaiba training with his lightning sword, decided to challenge again with Onimaru, and both of them fights. Sadly, Yaiba still came out a little bit short. He was still not strong enough to beat Onimaru, and he lost his lightning sword, at least the lightning part. And let me just say that in order to get stronger and challenge Onimaru again, he set out on a journey to, I kid you not, go in search to the 7 orbs. Not Dragon Ball, orbs. Completely different. Just kidding, but seriously, that was another similarity, and even one of them being a dragon orb. Wink wink, but not Dragon Ball, dragon orb. Wink. I don't know why I'm winking so much, but yes, I think I'm going to leave it there. This video I think is going to start getting a little bit too long. So yes, let me just recap by saying I really, really, really like this anime, and I am very anticipating the second season of Yaiba. And I am going to give this anime a score of 9, a 9 out of 10. Very much love it. Now, before I finish, one thing that I want to mention is that after watching all 24 episodes of Yaiba, I questioned myself, with Yaiba having a remake, would it be neat if the OG Dragon Ball would have received also a remake? And as soon as I thought of that, I immediately stopped myself, because there are so many jokes that Dragon Ball, the OG Dragon Ball, has that would not fly today. The two things that right now are coming to mind is the episode where Bulma accidentally flashes Master Roshi, and the other thing is where the character Chi that later becomes Goku's wife, when she appeared for the first time, she was in pretty much in a bikini armor. So those are the only two things that come into mind right now. There are so many inappropriate jokes, clothing, and so on that appear throughout the OG Dragon Ball that it would not fly today, unless they heavily censor it, and I would not love if they did that. So that's just something I wanted to share before ending. So I'm going to end it here. So have a good day, have a good night, wherever you're from. See you next video.